Okay, hello everybody, and a very good day to you. This is Pete Wormter, CMO of QuandaGo, and we are going to get started here. And I thank you for joining our demo webinar on how to build a case management system with QuandaGo. So we've got about 30 minutes today. I suggest we jump right in. Let me tell you a little bit about what we'll talk about today. As you know, the topic is case management. We'll talk a little bit about what we mean by it in the context of QuandaGo, why it's important today, why it's something that's a critical part of today's digital customer journeys. And then we'll jump into a demo, which we'll play from Robert Winder. This will dive into our capabilities a bit deeper, our agent cockpit. He'll show you how to set up some guided processes, how to manage contacts and cases really from start to finish, which is really key, as well as looking for opportunities to apply automation. So we'll open it up for questions. We'll have some time for a few if needed at the end. But we do have a pretty busy schedule here. So let's jump in and look at the topic a little bit deeper. So what do we really mean by case management? And I think it can be a fairly general definition. In the context of QuandaGo, we're really looking at it from a customer experience perspective, but also very much from an end-to-end customer journey perspective. So cases or inquiries that come into the contact center, typically over a range of channels, and then inevitably have multiple steps and even move to other parts of the business to get to resolution. So here's a Gartner glossary, a kind of standard definition at a high level. I've underlined a couple things here, but they're really designed to support more complex processes, multi-step processes, and really have a combination of human or employee support and an automated type workflow and automation supporting the process. So we'll show you a bit of that in more context with the demo, but we wanted to set a little bit of a definition in terms of what we're talking about. Why this is critical, if you look at the lower visual shows a multi-step customer journey that actually starts out quite positive in the contact center, moves to customer self-service. You can see the experience starts to get negative. It even requires a back office connectivity, which is able to be fulfilled, and you can kind of bring the customer satisfaction level back up. But as you see with these multi-step journeys, if you get one wrong, you can degrade the customer experience and really frustrate your customer. So a last point on this slide is a recent Salesforce State of the Connected Customer. Some interesting stats, and I think point to this notion of delivering a consistent, efficient journey end to end. Well, 76% of customers from the survey expect consistent interactions across departments, but many feel, more than half, like sales, service, and marketing aren't sharing information, are not talking to each other. And with all of that going on, convenience is really emerging as critical, with 7 in 10 customers prioritizing convenience over brand. So there's a lot going on. It's critical. We can jump to the next slide on some tips on how to get it right. And then we'll jump into the demo. But look for repeatable processes. Look for those end-to-end processes where there's value in driving efficiency, where there's value in applying automation, where you're going to get a return on it and impact as many customer interactions and experiences as you can. Know which ones to prioritize. There's a few different methods companies can take for prioritizing case management. Some take a more handle first in, first out type of approach, Others choose it based on the nature or the urgency of the case. So that's really up to you based on your business needs. Uh, we mentioned that end-to-end customer journey, so that requires factoring contact center, knowledge base, data from CRM platforms and other applications, and again, back office connectivity, which is getting easier these days with Microsoft Teams connectivity and the migration to the cloud in general. Omni-channel is a must. Many times these inquiries are coming in via a messaging or a chat on the website. Inevitably, a voice-based agent and a voice call may take place, but it is we said a multi-step journey, but also a multi-channel journey that we're talking about. We mentioned automation, and that even stretches to after call work. So, even finishing up things beyond handling the customer, and that end-to-end process, making that as efficient as possible for the agent. Um, and doing that, with data and centralized access to the info and intelligence they need to manage that case through to completion. So those are some kind of general tips, things you need to think about. Let's jump into the demo. Robert Winder, he's been our demo uh, uh, expert in the past, and he will handle the case management demo today. So here we go.
My name is Robert Winder, and I'm here today to show you a little bit about the demo of case management, how we manage cases, how we do contact dispositions, and how we overall improve the efficiency of the agent and also the workflow within your business. So today what I'd like to do is to describe a scenario where a customer comes in through self-service. They can't find the knowledge base article they're looking for, so what they do is they initiate an inbound chat, web chat in this case, but it could equally be Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or Viber or any of the other channels for inbound communication. In addition to the e-channels like email and chat, it can also be voice-based channels. And so the idea today is to show you this demo and base this demo around the contact and the inbound contact. Now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the agent experience. What we're going to do is we're going to show you the agent cockpit. We're going to show you how the agent can create a customer ticket, a case ticket, and then how they can look at previous historical data, and at the same time then initiate a process that gets sent to other people in your business, in your organization. So in this case, the dispute and invoice process requires a supervisor or somebody in the finance team to make the approval, and then once that approval is made, then a notification is returned back to the customer. So I'm going to show you how all of that is done today. And then finally, the last part is to look at the contact reasoning and how you assign the type of contact, the subcategories and the categories of the contact. And then obviously, the beauty of that is you actually get to track each of the dispositions for your contact, so you know how many of which type of contacts you've received and what the outcomes of those contacts were. So without further ado, let me get started on the demo for today. And as you can see, inside of this window, I have a couple of different tabs open. One is the agent desktop. This is the standard QuandaGo agent desktop, and I just happen to be looking at the messaging tab. And then the second is this self-service process, and so just this starting off a simple self-service task. I could type in a search item here into the knowledge base, or I can register myself for a web chat. And as you can see here, I'm currently in queue, and I can say, I can type my question below. So here I have how can I dispute an invoice type question. And if I go back to my agent desktop now, the first thing that we'll notice is that there is a web chat item waiting. As an agent, I'm currently in the logged in state, but probably what I would like to do is put myself in the chat so that I can actually address this chat. Now, when I do this as the agent, I'll start to receive that inbound chat request. So you'll get a little pop. You'll see here that this was a web chat. It came on this particular page, the Atlantic web chat page. And this is who it came from. It came from Robert Winder. Now, when I click this link here, what we see is a little pop which tells me what the chat is. So Robert has joined the chat, and then how can I dispute an invoice? That was obviously the message that me, the customer, typed in. And so now you can also see that the agent Atlantic, that's me as the agent, has joined the chat. And I can respond. I could do, in fact, some simple response. Hi, Robert. Thanks for your question. Let me look up your account. So while we're typing in this, the other thing I want to show you is over on the left-hand side. Over on the right-hand side, you can see here that we also did a screen pop of sorts. We looked up, for example, the person's email that wanted to chat, and we pulled back the records out of our case management system. And so as I pull that open, you can see here that this is Robert Winder, and you can see my contact information, any other open tickets that I might have, and any previous contact history. Now, let me just stop for a moment here just to describe what you're looking at. First things first, I'm in an omni-channel interaction. I've received an inbound chat request, and you can see across this bar across the top here all of the different types of chats that I've received or different types of contacts I've received from this particular customer. So 14 emails, 122 phone calls, 20 self-service sessions, 9 chats, web chats, etc., Facebook messages, Twitter messages, etc. So this provides a 360-degree view of the customer right there presented for the agent right on the home screen that the agent uses. Clearly, huge advantage to this is that the agent can now go back and look through some of the history of the previous interactions. Maybe that this customer, maybe Robert is calling regarding to a previous issue that they had and that they would like to address. But if I want to, I can scroll back through time. I can pick various other tasks or various other items that I can look at. I can see other systems when they were integrated. I can pull back previous information, and I can go a long way back in the history of the interaction, right? Almost well over a year here, and I can go back even further. Here what I can see is that there was a callback state made. This was a particular task. If I pull back what actually happened, you can see a callback was made on the 14th of April in 2020. So just, this just gives the agent the general feeling of being able to understand the exact contact history for this particular customer. So now let me show you now what's happening next. So the customer is asking for a disputed invoice. So the question is, how do we know or how can we look up where to dispute an invoice? And the first thing I would like to show you is the knowledge base. Now, in our knowledge base, we have a disputed invoice as an item. I can see here that if the customer disagrees with the invoice, this is effectively the agent script. And at this point, the agent is now better equipped to be able to address the particular question that the customer has. I'm providing here the simple clarification required from the agent to the customer. So let me respond back to the customer now from a chat perspective. Okay, I have your account available. Do you know which invoice it is? Which invoice it is? Okay, so whilst the customer is looking at the invoice number, I want to just point out a couple of other pieces. The actual knowledge base item is linked now to a business process. So in the knowledge base, we know that this is a disputed invoice knowledge base item. And if I click on this link, what that does is it initiates a disputed invoice work item or task. And so this allows me now to create an event related to the disputed invoice item here. So now, as I look here, I can see that there are a couple, and clearly Robert's going to respond with this invoice number 100. And so let's make the assumption that Robert has replied. I can click on that link here. And these invoice numbers, this invoice information, this came from a third-party system. It didn't come from inside the QuandaGo environment. It came from your own environment, your finance system, or your billing and accounting system. And we pulled back that data, and we're using that data now for the agent in a seamless way where the agent just has a single pane of glass. So as you can see here, everything is neatly provided directly to the agent in just one window. They don't have to tab between multiple tabs or change windows. So we could ask why the invoice is being disputed. Why is this invoice in dispute? And now what I can do is I can get that feedback. Okay, well, the amount is incorrect. And what I want to be able to do is if I look here, there are two invoices, and I want the promotional price that I paid the previous month. So let me, promotion is not applied, so I can specify that. And now the customer wish is to, oops, yep, we can say just apply a discount. And ask a promotion code. So if the customer doesn't have it, then we can fill it in. Otherwise, promotion not applied. Let me just type that in here and hit next. So now what we've done is we've actually initiated a process that will actually get sent to our back office for approval. You can see that we're also now doing some contact disposition. So what this means is here we're able to do some contact reasoning to say that this customer chatted with us. We started a dispute and invoice process. That invoice amount is incorrect, and we can fill in the invoice number, and all of these notes automatically get inserted into the contact disposition. So as an agent in the future, I can come back and I can look up and I can see, okay, what's going on. Now below at the very bottom here, you can see this action. Now there is only one action here, which is that we're starting a dispute and invoice process. But it could be that we want to give the agent the flexibility to choose what process should actually get started. Maybe in this case, it's very clear cut, we're going to dispute an invoice. But in other cases, such as a case where perhaps we've got an item that needs to be returned, or an item where we're not sure if there's a manufacturing defect in our product, or we want to organize a third party, it could be that we may have multiple choices of different actions to outcome. They can either be selected through logic, meaning that the system itself will choose the action for you, or allow the agent to actually specify that action. In this case, the system has chosen to tell us that we're going to create this dispute and invoice process, and we're now going to tag this particular interaction with all of the information that you see here. This allows me to wrap up the interaction. If I wanted to, I could see here some follow-up notes. The customer will receive a confirmation immediately, and then the final request will take 10 working days to be concluded. So now if I hit finish, that puts me into the wrap-up mode, or I've gone through the wrap-up mode. I can say, I can use a template message in here now to say thank you very much for contacting us. I can send that to the customer, and then I can put myself into wrap-up from a connection perspective, and then close the interaction out. So now this customer's interaction is now complete with the agent, and they're now hung up. In fact, if I come back over here, back to the customer, what it looks like is you can see here, you can see obviously the messages that I typed in as the agent. You can see the final template message that I sent, and then we send a little wrap-up message right at the very end. Now, if you remember, one of the things I said is that we actually start a business process, which then gets related back to the customer, by somebody else somebody else outside of the contact center. And that's really the power and the benefit of business processes, which start in the contact center, but get fulfilled by other people outside of the contact center in the rest of your business. Obviously, what this does is it extends the average handle time from the, let's say, 3.5 minutes that the customer is actually interacting with an agent into a process which can take several days. In fact, as you may note, early in the process, we told the customer this will actually take 10 days to resolve. So now let me go to the back office task. This is just a separate window, a separate browser window now, logged in as a separate user. Let me now just do a quick search, And now what you can see is we have a dispute, assess dispute process, which got created here for this user. We created it today at this date and time, and you can see it here. Now, as an agent or as a back office agent, as a finance agent, I'm now going to be able to open up that ticket and to see all of the information that was entered. So what we have here is the ability for us to give a decision, to say whether the dispute is justified. Beneath that, I can see other information that was provided by the customer to the agent, what the customer wish was. If needs be, I can look up the particular chat log and I can see the information related to that chat. I can also look up the confirmation of request. So here you can see that this confirmation of request was a written care. A follow-up email was sent directly to the customer. So I can see what that email said to the customer. You can see here, this was all of the information that was sent, right as an immediate, as a follow-up to the actual interaction that happened. So now, as the finance user, I have to make a decision. Is this dispute justified? And in this case, I think it was justified because clearly there was a promotional discount that was not applied. And so what we want to do is to say, yes, the dispute was justified, and we're actually going to make a refund. And so as a solution, we propose the following. We're going to apply the promotional rate, and we're going to specify that we propose this solution because the promotion not applied automatically. So again, what we're doing is we're basically filling in information that will provide information and context both directly to the customer, and also because we want to track this for future agents if an agent has to come back and refer to this type of interaction in the future. So as I pull that up, I can hit save and close. And now what that will do is it will automatically process this interaction for the next step in the environment. Just to show you what that looks like very quickly, what I'm going to do is just to pull back a very simple search of my customer record, and to show you how that has now been handled. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll take a quick look at the 360-degree view of the agent and the previous interactions. And you can see, we've had some additional self-service, additional chats, and so on. And here we have a disputed invoice, which was previously created. Again, as the agent, I'm able to refer back to the previous chat conversation. I can look back at the automated email, at the assessed dispute that was carried out by the finance user, and it's now gone beyond that. And now what we're doing is we're sending an automated confirmation of the solution directly to the customer, and within a few minutes, the process engine, the engine behind the system, will send that directly to the customer and ask the customer themselves if they agree with the solution or not, yes or no. So as an agent, I'm always kept informed with what's going on for this particular customer. And the reason that that's important is because I no longer have to transfer this call directly to the finance user to ask the finance user what they did or what should be done. You can see here that it's a very clear, very simple workflow. Now, again, what we're actually doing is we're managing what happens when the actual interaction, the 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the customer and the agent chatting directly, we're actually managing that by automating the process to send the information to the back office and collecting information automatically from the customer. And so that can take many days. In this case, we obviously did it within a few minutes, but it can also take many, many days and many, many weeks. And you can imagine some business processes that take some considerable time to manage. What the system is doing is keeping the customer informed all the way through the business process. So just as a recap for you for today and for this demo, what we've shown you is a case management that spans a multi-step customer journey. The dispute and invoice process started with a chat, went to a back office agent for approval, came back through a phone call to the agent, and the agent was able to refer back. What I showed you was the agent cockpit. This was the window, and this agent cockpit is seamless, whether it's a messaging or a chat-based interface, or whether it's done through a phone call. We also opened a guided process, and we let the agent and the finance user do their specific components, fill in the information that was required from each of them, and then allow each of them to be expert within their field, and then still keep the customer informed with what happened. And finally, we also manage the contact disposition, or the reasoning of the contact. We assigned some types, categories and subcategories to it, and that allowed us then to both track and report on that for each particular customer, and then also provide management level statistics from an overall contact center perspective. So as I said, this would be a short and sweet demo, roughly about 15 minutes. I hope that was of use for you, and I look forward to presenting to you the next time through. Thanks very much for your time today, and have a great day.
Okay, then many thanks to Robert for that demo. We hope you found that useful. We've got just a couple minutes left. We did get some questions to come in. We answered a couple on chat, and we had some others as well. So one was, is it possible to migrate our current case management system to QuandaGo? The short answer is yes. Typically, the cases that are already going in your current system would finish out there. New cases would start in QuandaGo, and we can carry out a data migration to bring those legacy cases into the new system, so that can be done. How is a case management application reported on? So we can export, all kinds of data on contacts, cases, next steps in the process, to our business intelligence solution, where you can create dashboards in that environment. You can also export data if you have your own BI solution. We can work with that as well. So that we're going to just close up here on our last slide, but we want to thank everyone for joining, and we would encourage you, if you're interested in learning more. QuandaGo can do case management. Speak to your account representative. You can request a demo. We will follow up with all attendees today with a replay of this, and an opportunity to engage further, including getting a demo, a personal demo. So we thank you again. I would close out on our community as we always do. If you're not already following us on LinkedIn, please do so. We share lots of great information there, product information, but also best practices, industry thought leadership, news and analyst info, and so on. And we hope to see you there. We hope to see you at our next monthly demo webinar in July. And in the meantime, we wish you all a good day. Thank you very much.